Numbers are basically energies. So everything is numerical, whether it's a chemical formula or a name. Every name has numbers behind it. The letter A is a 1, B is a 2. So you can tell the story of someone just by looking at the numbers of their name and their date of birth. And so there's a code. Each person comes in with their own code that they create before birth.
So like we see in the supermarket and everywhere, that
yes,
funny code.
Well, you have one as well. Each person has the owner's manual. Each person created it prior to reincarnating.
So we decided on it when we're coming on next time round.
Mm-hmm. You impress this name, the first or middle name, on the parent's subconscious at birth to give to you. Oh, wow. We name ourselves, even if we don't like our names.
We did it.
We did it for the particular information we want to work with in that life and the code that's there. And we can always use a nickname, you know, call it Bob, whatever, doesn't matter. But you have that blueprint. I had hardly met the man, but it was there in his name and his date of birth. So I'm always working in the head to figure it out. I mean, it's just a natural thing you do. So I was able to say something to him that cleared up something that he had been working on or trying to figure out for a long, long time, and he didn't know. I didn't know him from
Adam.
Yeah, he had said he had gone all this. I didn't know the history. He had gone through all this expense with other people trying to find out all this information, and
he spent 2 hours on the phone with one numerologist at something like $3.80 an hour or something.
Oh,
a minute.
I want to. Oh my! I'm in the wrong business.
Oh, yes, this is big business. No, but truly, this happened, and in the 2 minutes with you outside the church.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was the first and last time I've seen him.
But he was so impressed by you. That's how I got your name.
I'm delighted. Yeah. Whenever you enter a period of a 9 period, which is, if you think about it, 9's a finishing number. We say the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, but you say 9.
I was in a personal year.
Birth year.
I was in a cycle. I was in my own personal year of a 9, and at that point, it was a finish, and it was that period when we went our separate ways. Actually, when I was in my last 9 year, personal 9 year, a few years ago, my mother died in the 9th month of my 9th year on September the 9th at 9:14 in my own personal 9th year.
You describe it almost like somebody meeting a guide.
Well, it was.
That they were
I just call it a priestly figure. And I didn't see anything frightening about it. You know, it wasn't one of these things out of a movie that spooks you and comes after you like in Aliens. It was a very calm situation. And all it said to me, all he or it said to me was, you are to study Pythagoras and Zen, and I didn't know what that was, so I went looking for a book called Pythagoras and Zen, and then I found out that Pythagoras is the same thing as Pythagoras. In our culture we say Pythagoras, but that's not the correct pronunciation.
The old Greek is the...
Yeah, and Zen, I didn't know what the relevancy was till years later when I studied Zen Buddhism. But the Zen requires detachment. In order to be effective, there's a detachment element to do this work, to serve or to help, that you have to be somewhat detached. I mean, you can't get so emotionally involved, or you won't be effective. It's a sense, once you learn that things, you don't react the same way to everything that just happens to you.
Because you feel like you're watching the river of life.
Well, you understand there's a higher force that's working all the time,
and you cannot interrupt the flow. The flow will happen.
And there is a flow. And so, you know, it's just like in Buddhism, it will say you don't know what the karma is that person is going through. Why do they have to go through that? Or maybe sometimes they have to hit bottom to come back. I don't like to predict gloom. I might say something that would help them knowing what I know. And then you have to let go.
And just stand back and watch it.
Yeah, when people come to me for a private session, I will say a whole lot. But it's given to them so that they can understand and help themselves whether they do or don't, or shift their thinking.
But you advise people in the financial world, you advise people, I mean, you advise people across the board based on their numbers, without just being spiritual or just being physical or just being mental. You blend the whole package.
I blend the whole package. You have to.
So do they come back to you then for a reading at another time in their life?
Oh, definitely, yeah. It's really bridging the material and spiritual worlds. That's the work. Bridging. Usually 50 on, they get a stage of life where they make major changes. 49 to 50 is huge. That's the 7 soul cycle. So they make changes when you see what this people changing careers and professions and what am I going to do. And there are people who really have very special assignments in their date of birth, like a Gandhi figure. They're really on special assignments.
So Gandhi was relieved, you think?
Like Bill Clinton, Ronald Reagan, they're very much on special assignments.
Ronald Reagan?
Yes. And so is George Bush.
Oh,
yes.
George Bush. Is this an explanation or a...
There is. There's a lot of explanation for what's going on with him and what's happening, yes. Definitely. There's no accidents here. There are none. I didn't plan to alter the world.
Why not? Because you got a great message.
I plan to deliver the message.
That could alter the world.
And that could alter the world. It certainly has altered other people's lives already. You give something back that your life has been effective.
For some people, that somewhere along the line.
And everyone has a difference. So that it doesn't mean you have to go out and write the big novel. It doesn't mean you have to, you know. I heard a wonderful story on NPR of a woman who's 102 taking care of her younger brother who's 95, and her sister has Alzheimer's who's in her 80s, and this woman's 102 taking care of them. It's remarkable. They've been living at home through all this. Now that is testimony of someone's life. I mean, really. And we're going to do our best to
ensure that
get the information out and get people aware and market and talk and teach.
And you have faith in people being broad-minded enough or big-minded enough to open this and make sense.
It's ready. People are ready. They're hungry for something that isn't just pop surface or pop surface. There's a lot of information out there, but there isn't much accountability for it. It's like delivering noise and delivering programs.
We've never had so much information.
A lot of quick fix.
And this is not the Band-Aid.
Things that last take time.